Hi guys, I'm Tiger. Do you ever notice SJWs using words that you've never heard? Well, I'm going to translate them into normal people language. As an ex-SJW myself, it's fair to say that I'm pretty qualified. Number 1. Cisgender. Now, this isn't really a buzzword, but SJWs will use it a lot. It means to identify as the gender that you were born as. And I actually have no problem with this one. It's like the word straight. Number 2. Cultural appropriation. This is when you, quote unquote, steal something from another culture. It's only angering to them if a white person has dreads. If a black person uses European culture, it's fine, because reasons. Number 3. Problematic. This is a term used by SJWs to attack other SJWs. They will call you problematic if you dare to have an opinion about issues pertaining to a community that you aren't part of. This brings us to our next phrase. Number 4. Lane hopping. So, you identify as male, have a penis, and think that there are two genders? You're doing something called lane hopping. Because you're not trans asterisk, you can't have an opinion. Are you white, but you think that black people are totally capable of being racist? Lane hopping. It's basically if you do something an SJW doesn't like. Number 5. Ablest. So this one is supposed to be discrimination against disabled people, but SJWs, of course, have turned it into more. One time I said you shouldn't self-diagnose yourself with autism, and I was promptly called ableist. When I informed the SJW that I was actually autistic, they said, "That doesn't excuse my ableism." What? I can't be ableist towards my own group. You know that, right? Silly old Willy. That's a Willy Bumbum reference if you haven't caught it. Don't watch that if you're under 18. I was traumatized. Number 6. Neurotypical. Neurotypical is a term for people who aren't autistic. But of course, SJWs have screwed that up too. Now, if you have anxiety, you are no longer neurotypical, which actually isn't the case. I think they just really want to be special. 90% of people who identify as not being neurotypical either A. have a mental illness or disability other than autism, B. are self-diagnosed with autism, or C. are self-diagnosed with something other than autism. Number 7. Cishet. Basically cisgender and straight. This is commonly used as a pejorative. Number 8. Transmisogyny. This is when you're being transphobic but towards a trans woman. Often, so-called transmisogyny is actually just transphobia, although I'm sure there is actual transmisogyny. Number 9. Truth scum. This is a slur that SJWs use against trans people when the said trans person believes that you need dysphoria to be trans, or believes that there are only two genders. In my case, since I'm cisgendered scum and believe both of these things, I'm transphobic. But for trans people, they use a slur based on identity. I don't know, sounds pretty transphobic to me. And finally, number 10. Reverse racism. This is by far my least favorite phrase. Reverse racism is when you are racist towards white people. If you point out that an SJW is being racist, they will promptly tell you that you cannot be racist towards white people. A lot of SJWs think white people actually will call them reverse racist. No, sweetie, we call you racist. Hey, wait a minute. You're saying that minorities are incapable of doing something that white people are totally capable of doing. That sounds pretty racist to me. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.